Do you take on a low-paying client when you know you need the money and you're just starting out inside of your business? For those that don't know me, my name is Gary Frater. I've managed content for Mike Tyson, Brendan Schaub, Steven Crowder, Mark Sanchez, and a ton of other celebrities. And then I went out on my own with my brother, and we built our content agency, Frater Media, from zero to multiple six figures in the span of 1 year, living on a military base. And now I'm documenting my journey and, most importantly, my judgments as I'm making big decisions and scaling my agency, that if you're watching this now, chances are you're going through the exact same thing. This isn't ChatGPT telling you what you should and shouldn't do. This is real life experiences from me. Then this is what I'm going through right now. And hopefully after watching this video, you can have some clarity as far as the decision that you should make. Okay. So this is a really big one. Do you take on a low paying client when you know you need the money, but you're just starting out? This is something that I dealt with when I first launched my content agency. A client came to us, a prospect, in an industry that was kind of out of left field. It wasn't something we ever prepped for. At the time, we were working with CEOs, entrepreneurs looking to build their personal brand, as well as podcast networks as well. And so this person came to us kind of out of left field. They were mostly a freelancer, and they did not have a big budget to work with. At the time, we were only charging for social media assets, meaning like 20 videos per month. You could watch my other videos as far as offer structure. And now we sell way more based on results, right? Because that's ultimately what the client is paying for. But at this time, we were just selling assets. And it was a tough sell. But anyway, this prospect came to us, and then they were saying, what can I get for $2,000? And so my brother and I, we were deciding on whether to take this client on. This particular client wanted to build, their personal brand. And so we were like, okay. I mean, we definitely do need the money right now. Can we provide this person with a result? I'm not sure. I don't know. And so we came up with the conclusion that we can do 3 posts for this person per week. And they agreed. They were ecstatic about it. And so we would hop on Riverside every single week. We would research, their industry, their top high performing topics that would perform well on LinkedIn and all other platforms on Instagram. And so, this is what we do. We take social media off of their plate, but we're only doing 3 posts per week, all organic. So as you can see, the issue with organic is the fact that you can't predict it, right? There was no ad budget. There was nothing like that. And so we were basically just a social media manager, essentially. And after a while, my brother and I started to look at the numbers. We worked with this person for 2 months, and we were like, yeah, it's great. We're making $2,000, but is this person genuinely seeing results? And we also noticed that this was taking up too much time for our business, where we needed to focus our attention elsewhere. Because if you have 10 clients paying you $1,000, that's 10 different places that your brain is, and they're all paying a low budget. And so you're not able to really hire the necessary people that you need to. And we have a full team of video editors, graphic designers, social media coordinators. And at $2,000, I can't allocate a huge chunk of resources to this particular person for 3 social media posts per week. And so it left us with 2 options. Do we continue, even though we know, this person's not going to see the results that they want? They're probably going to resent us, but at the same time, we need the money. And, they don't seem to have any qualms about it. They're kind of just like, yeah, they show up to the filming sessions, whatever. Do we basically create a problem out of nothing? Or do we say, you know what, we're going to chop this at the head. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to see the results that you want based off the structure that you're on right now, as well as, just this person doesn't really align with us. And most importantly, we're teaching ourselves that we're okay with having clients that don't align with the ultimate result and the goal that we can deliver for them. Right? And so my brother and I were sitting there thinking, because again, we could use the money. But at the end of the day, what we realized was it was way more important for us to align our business with the results that we could actually deliver for clients. And that this person, these low-level clients, were taking up too much bandwidth in our mind and just, either weekly calls or whatever it was, that we could take that attention and we can really just channel it into basically, handling our bigger clients, the ones that pay more, the ones that, there's an actual future with. Because with these low paying clients, especially like freelancers and, small businesses, really, essentially, there's not a whole lot of investment that they're going to have in the near future as opposed to these bigger clients. And so we had a difficult conversation. I called up the client and I let this person know that, hey, you either need to double the bandwidth that you're currently doing in terms of both on price point as well as, the amount of assets that we're doing for you now, as well as have a paid ads budget so that we could predictably grow, your brand versus just putting out organic content, or we just go our separate ways and that's it. And so what this person ultimately came to the conclusion of, not surprising, is the fact that they needed that $2,000 and they could put it elsewhere. And that is the exact issue with working with small businesses, working with freelancers, is the fact that that money means absolutely everything to them and they need to see an ROI basically overnight. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense for them to work with us. I mean, if somebody's making $5,000 and you cost them $2,000, they better see an ROI, because the only profit they have each month to live off of is $3,000. And so it's always better to work with bigger clients where that money doesn't mean as much to them, but also you're solving a bigger problem. There's more of a future with this person, and you ultimately become more of a partner when you work with a bigger client with a bigger budget. You're less of like, kind of just somebody they outsource stuff to versus an actual partner that you can grow with. And that is something that we prioritize at Freighter Media. It's like the clients that we take on, we really genuinely want to become partners and, work together for a common goal. However, you're not going to get that with a smaller brand, smaller company, somebody that just, that money means everything to them and they can't fathom the fact that if they don't see an ROI in the next 48 hours, that they can pay you another month. That is not where we want to go. And I genuinely believe that that's how coaching business, how agencies die. And that is why high ticket is such a valuable space to be in, is because the bigger the problem you solve, the more you can ultimately charge for that. And ultimately you'll have better margins inside of your business versus just having a lot of low paying clients that drain your time, energy, and they're a pain in the ass to work with, because again, that money means absolutely everything to them. So if you're going through this now, just understand that this is exactly what I did. And if I can offer you one piece of advice, it's that the money that you have saved up is going to be a huge, it's probably going to be the biggest differentiator between you making good decisions versus, bad business decisions. Because the money that you have saved up, a nest egg, is really going to be the thing that either gives you peace or you're going to be making decisions out of fear. Versus if you have a nest egg of money saved up and you know that your business can last another month or a month after that and a month after that, you're like, okay, let's be strategic on who we ultimately take on. But if you have, no money in your bank, well, then you're going to take on everybody and anybody, and then the people aren't going to see a good result. Then they're going to give you bad reviews, or they're not going to recommend you, or you're just going to tarnish your name in the industry, and that is not what you ultimately want to do. If you guys have any questions, comments below, want me to tackle another topic as far as growing an agency or a service-based business, and what my perspective is on that, feel free to drop it in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.